And we are live. Welcome to the MLB Strategy Show. I'm Josh Engleman, here to break down a 7-game MLB slate. I know it's Thursday night football tonight, but we are still talking baseball. We're going nowhere. Hope you guys took the advice of taking the Pirates last night. That seemed to go pretty well. But I ultimately did not play the main slate last night, which I wish I would have. It probably would have went pretty well for me. But now we're here to break down the main slate for today. 7 games, easy one. 25K relay throw is actually better than what I was expecting. So if you are playing baseball tonight, I think it's a decent time to do so. I'm refreshing my model right now so that we can take a look at our updated lineups. And then we're going to break it all down. We're going to take a lap through all 7 games. And then we're going to kick it over to the NFL Strategy Show coming up after this. They will be live. That's going to be Laffy and Eric Lindquist at 11 a.m. I'll hit you with everything right now. 11 a.m. NFL Strategy Show. That is directly after me. 1:30, we have the NFL Rainmaker Show for Greg. Greg's also then back again at 4:30 for the Owner's Box Show. Myself and Greg will do MLB Live Before Lock from 6 until 7. And then you'll get Laffy and Neil NFL Live Before Lock, 7:15 all the way to 8:15 for Thursday Night Football. We've got the Giants. We've got the Niners. That's where we're at for today. I've got my model locked and loaded and updated. Apparently, I'm getting to the Pirates again. Yay. Always fun to be a day late to that one. So we'll dig into them in a second. But first, let's just get into it, folks. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button if you haven't done it already. Game number 1, the New York Yankees taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. 4-run implied total for the Yanks, 3.4 for the Blue Jays. I'm going to grab our top stacks and top pitchers tool as well. I just realized I didn't do that before. So let's make sure we get that. I have mine. I just don't have ours. We don't want to miss it. So top stacks is grabbed. And top pitcher grabbed. So we'll talk Garrett Cole first on the hill for the Yankees today. $12,200. That is $2,200 more expensive than Max Fried, the second most expensive pitcher on today's slate. And, well, I'm very interested in Garrett Cole, and I'm a little confused as to why he's not getting more love. Now, is it a great strikeout matchup against the Blue Jays? No, not really. It's like they don't project well. 22% K rate for the lineup that I have in. That's nothing too insane. But at the same time, it's still Garrett Cole. I have him optimally owned like 30% of the time. Have I missed something? Should he be not going as deep into this game? Because I think he's in a really nice spot. We got to remember, Garrett Cole, 144 x ISO to lefties, 148 to righties. If Garrett Cole is really there's no scenario to me that Garrett Cole should be less owned than Max Fried. I love Cole at 12% ownership. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We have him 29% to be a top 2 scoring pitcher at 13% ownership. I think he's criminally underrated today. Maybe we see this change as the day goes on, but this minimal run total, I mean, we're talking the Blue Jays have a run total basically tied with the A's and the Nats for the low mark today. Garrett Cole's strikeout prop is set at 7.5. Under is juiced minus 130. I got him projected for 7.3. So it's not as if I think that I have him wildly over projected. Why is he there's enough? It's 7 games. There's enough salary out there. I think Garrett Cole is probably I might like him more than Scooble. And he's getting 1/3 the ownership. What are we doing here? Why is he not getting the same representation that you would expect? I'm not entirely sure I understand. 8 or more strikeouts is plus 104. 9 or more is plus 196. Plus 200 for 9 plus strikeouts. And this guy is 13% owned. Love Garrett Cole today. But I also like Jose Barrios on the opposite side. 8,600. So that's the 5th most expensive pitcher. He is pulling 18% ownership. I think he should be somewhere in like the 20 to 25 range. We have him as an 18% top 2 pitcher. I got it at 24%. 6.5 strikeout prop is out there. I only have him at 5.7. That's a little light. We're talking about around 6 innings. I really like the pitching here. I like Cole. I like Barrios. We've got 13% ownership to Cole. I have 43. We have 18% ownership to Jose Barrios. I have 38. I want both sides of this game pitching. I don't know why it's not getting more love, because it's not like the hitting is. The Yankees are 10th. They're 10th in top stack. The Blue Jays are 11th. They're 11th in top stack. There's 4% ownership coming into both of these teams. If we're not going to the hitting, I'm certainly interested in the pitching. So give me the arms, not the bats. I do have 9 Yankee stacks. I'm neutral to the field for New York. But like the most I have is 9% Austin Wells, lefty-righty against Barrios. Volpe is in 8% of my lineups. I don't have anybody in double digits that's a hitter. Now, if we're talking about just like the best hitting plays, well, it's your Aaron Judges of the world, your Gleyber Torres. Austin Wells does look good. I think Cavan Biggio at 2,800, having third base eligibility, probably your best Blue Jay bat. I'm assuming we don't have Vlad today, but maybe we do. But as I rank this game, to me, it's very easily Cole, Barrios, Yankees, Blue Jays. I'm very curious about ownership. 12-2 is a lot for Cole. I think he deserves every bit of that price tag. Fun first game, though. This is just looking at the first game, it makes me want to play this slate even more. Then we go to the Nats. They're up second here, taking on the Braves. 3.5 run implied total for the Nats. 5.5 run implied total for Atlanta. Jake Irvin going for Washington. Max Fried on the hill for Atlanta. Fried is 10K, projected for 21% ownership. Now, Fried is been dominant since he's been back. 0.090 xISO to lefties over 188 pitches. A 0.096 xISO to righties over 960 pitches. The park's not the best. Does play up runs, does play up lefty and righty power. We have Fried 21% top 2 pitcher, 13% like pitcher score. I have him basically the same, a little bit lighter. We have 21% ownership coming into Fried. I only have 3. I think he's over-owned. I don't have any idea why he is more popular than Garrett Cole today, other than salary. I don't agree with it. Maybe that's just me, and I'm a Braves fan, so it's not like I'm being a homer here. Fried's strikeout prop is 4.5, shaded to the over. Now, maybe I'm a little light on that strikeout prop, because he's going to go 6 innings. But I don't think this is a great strikeout matchup. Keibert Ruiz doesn't really strike out. In the projected lineup that I have, of the first 6 hitters, 4 of them strike out at a league average rate against lefties. The other 2 are at 9% and 12%. The lineup will play a big role here. But as I see it right now, I want to get away from the Max Fried ownership and get more of Cole if I can. I prefer Cole to Fried in this spot. I'm willing to eat the extra $2,200. I just think he looks a little bit better. And again, I say this as a Braves fan, as a Fried fan. I just don't think he looks as good in DFS today. On the Nats side, please don't roster Jake Irvin. There is no reason for you to do that. We will then go immediately to the Braves bats. They are number 1 in top stack, both for me and for the site. They are not number 1 in value, that's for sure. They're 3rd in ownership, 12.5% aggregate ownership for the Braves. That's a little bit higher than their stack score. I'm getting to the Braves, but not a lot, and it's certainly not on a lot of stacks. This is lineup filler. That seems to be what I do for the Braves a lot. Like, I have 16% of Ronald Acuna and 11% of Austin Riley, but I only have 5 Braves stacks. I have about 8%. So I got about 75% of the field. Most of that is coming as one-offs, and I feel good there. I definitely like the Braves attacking Jake Irvin. There's no doubt in my mind that looks good. He's got a 225 xISO to lefties this year. So Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, Eddie Rosario, Michael Harris, they're all in great, great spots against Jake Irvin. For righties, 162 xISO. that's still league average against a team that's much better than that. So I don't mind getting to Atlanta. They're not going to be my primary stack team. I actually have more stacks of the Nats against Fried, and I don't think that's going to be all that surprising. If I'm already not getting to Fried, taking a discount on that 20% ownership, I don't mind having a little bit of Washington. Now, I don't think they're a great team to target because Fried doesn't get hit like that, but they're a really nice value option. CJ Abrams is your most expensive bat for Washington at 4,800. Very easy to get there. Parks certainly helps. They're 14th in ownership. That's dead last of all 14 teams. It's not like I'm taking a big stand. I have 5% of Washington, but I do have 10 stacks. If they're all going to be 3% owned, I'm very happy to have 6 or 7% of their best guys. So I am keeping my eye on Washington as a hedge stack against the ownership of Max Fried. If you rank this game, I think it's Braves bats, Fried, Nats bats, Irvin. 2 games up, 2 games down. Got a couple more to go. I'm going to put my watch back on. It's basically charged at this point. If you're playing NFL tonight, Giants and Niners, 10.5 point line. Could be a pretty interesting DFS slate for football. I've got my NFL contenders videos out on the YouTube channel, so go check those out if you are playing NFL. MLB contenders will be out after this. I had to get the NFL ones out first. Oddly enough, not that many people watch the MLB contenders videos on days where there's football, so they are the non-priority to start off the day. I already let you guys know all of the shows that we've got going on over the next, 7, 8, over the next 10 hours. We'll have like 6 more live shows or something like that. You don't want to miss any of that stuff. We've got so much going on. So make sure you're hitting that like button. We're up to 53 people. I'll take what I can get here today. It was like 200 something yesterday. It's incredible what the NFL does for people's interest. Let's go to the Phillies. Taking on the Mets, 5-run implied total for Philadelphia, 4 for New York. Ranger Suarez going for the Phils. David Peterson going for the Mets. This is where I start to get a little bit different. We'll start with Suarez. I have him 18% top 2 pitcher. I have him at 19. We have him at 18. So he should be right around there. And I project him to be around 20% owned. He's actually 33. So I think Ranger Suarez is getting a little bit too much love in the ownership, 7,900. It's a completely fine price. I have 21%, but 33% is a bit too much. And then we talk about David Peterson. Peterson is 5,500 today. And I think this is the more interesting piece to talk about. So 5,500. We have him 16% top 2 pitcher. I have him at 6. Split the difference there, maybe call it like 10 to 12. Maybe he should be 15% owned, upwards of 20. He's 36% owned today. I'm not a big fan of that as a value option. A lot of scary power on the Phillies side. Reminder that the Phillies have the 3rd highest implied total today, and David Peterson is in a third of lineups. 175 x ISO to lefties, 176 to righties. He is prone to power in a park that gives up power. I don't really love the idea of going to him as the value option. I have 15%. Is he a value option? For sure. Should be getting some ownership because of his price. There's some strikeout stuff there that you want to take advantage of. I don't know why he's in a third of lineups. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Given the matchup, given the run total, given his minor issues with power to both hands, this guy's overowned. So 36% is too much. That is a guy that I want to be lighter on. So I am lighter on than the field on Ranger Suarez and David Peterson today. The Suarez piece, I'm a little surprised it's breaking the way that it is, but I guess I'm going to talk about the Mets first. 7th in top stack, 12th in ownership at 3.5%. 6% stack score. I think these guys are pretty significantly under-owned. Not to mention, you get the benefit of the Suarez 3rd ownership. So, double duty for the Mets today as a mid-tier stack because they're just not getting owned. I have 26 Mets stacks and around 13% of a team that's 4% owned. So, I'm 3xing New York here against Ranger Suarez. Suarez, 0.059 x ISO, against lefties, not exciting. 168 to righties, that's what we're looking for. So it's going to be Pete Alonso, Francisco Alvarez, Lindor, Mark Vientos. Those are the 4 bats that I am most interested in here for the Mets. Alvarez in particular, 3,800 for a catcher. I think he stands out. I like the Mets as a sneak stack on the opposite side of Suarez's ownership. I don't feel the same way for the Phillies, which is kind of surprising to me. Maybe it's a value equation thing. We have them 14th. I have it 13th. They're very hard to be a good value, but they're basically 9% top stack at 5% ownership. That's what I'm getting. I have 4%. I have 5 stacks. I think it's easier to just not get to David Peterson and then play some Phillies. But I like the Mets side of this one more. If I'm ranking this game, in my eyes, it's Mets bats, Ranger Suarez, David Peterson, Phillies bats. I really like this slate today. These first 3 games are unique. Whether or not we get this to look like this at 6 o'clock tonight might be a little different, but through the first 3 games, I'm taking pretty sizable stands on the opposite side of ownership, and I really like it. We move on to game number 4, Guardians and Orioles. 4.7 run implied total for the Guardians, 3.7 for the Orioles. Grayson Rodriguez and Hunter Gaddis. I'm pretty sure I entered this line in backwards. I did. Yeah, that should be more like this, which is going to change things a little bit. That said, I think Grayson Rodriguez looks pretty good. He's 8% owned. I have 8. I actually think it should be a little bit higher now that I flip-flop this. I think these guys would grade out a little bit differently. But as I look at it, I think Grayson Rodriguez looks pretty good at 8,100. No disagreements there. Probably a little bit under-owned. Hunter Gaddis on the opposite side at 7,300. Not somebody that I think you're targeting. If we look at this game for bats, we need to talk about the Orioles. And I guess this is where I need to rerun everything because I'm going to need their proper stack scores. So let me rerun my top stacks tool because I had that line flip. There wasn't a line on this game when I woke up. I don't know if it's in yet, but I had to make one up. And if I'm right, then everything that I had in here for this one is flip-flopped. Top stacks is done. Top pitchers will be done in a second. So this is going to dramatically, the Orioles are going to jump up a lot and the Guardians are going to fall a lot. Yeah, Guardians fall big time. Orioles jump up to 2. That makes sense. And then for pitching, there we go. Grayson Rodriguez takes a pretty sizable jump up. I wonder if I could rerun everything quickly. Probably can. I'll be able to talk through it all. So let's copy everything over again. Yeah, this is gonna work out really well. I'll rerun my lineups while I'm talking about this game, and we'll have everything we need in like 2 minutes. Easy stuff. Because Grayson Rodriguez needs to show up a little bit more. All right. It is saved. We are good, which means sim. Run. So we're not going to Gaddis. We are going to go to Grayson Rodriguez. I am matching our top pitcher odds on Grayson Rodriguez. We have him at 15. I have him at 14. I think he should be 15% owned, and he is 8. And I'm hoping I see his number climb a little bit. I'm guessing I give up a little bit of Jose Barrios to get a little bit more of Grayson Rodriguez now that I've flipped that line. I agree with the site in that I think they're like 10 to 11% top 2 stack, and they're pretty cheap considering Henderson and Rutschman are your most expensive guys. You get the double MPE out of Gunnar Henderson at short and third plus Rutschman at catcher. That just improves the stack odds pretty dramatically. And in like a minute and a half, we'll be able to talk about said stack odds. I'm just dumping my inputs into my model right now. But once this is done simulating itself, we'll be in good shape. As I look at the bats right now, look, the ownership on Baltimore is heavy. They're 16.5% owned. I'm expecting to not have a ton of Baltimore because of the ownership. But, and like Cedric Mullins and Henderson and Rutschman, these guys are over-owned. I mean, probably nobody more than Jordan Westberg. Mullins is probably pretty close at 4,700. So I'm going to like these guys for sure. But I can't imagine I get to 16.5%. That seems aggressive. The Guardians on the opposite side, they don't look all that good. 12th in top stack out of 14 teams. Not exactly the best value either, just because they have a pretty limited upside. That said, if they're 6.5% owned, they won't be the worst option in the world if you want to go to like Jose Ramirez, but I don't really want to target against Grayson Rodriguez. I expect to not really have any bit of Cleveland, even if they are 7th in ownership. It doesn't stand out to me as a great spot. Now, Grayson Rodriguez does give up a lot of power to lefties, so that's going to be good for Ramirez, Naylor, Calhoun, Jimenez, other Naylor, I guess. Are these lineups done yet? They are. They just finished. Okay, so I could refresh my crunch. This will let us know where we stand in terms of stacks, because this is definitely going to make, I hope, the Guardians go away. I have a lot of Giants. Those are days I don't normally like. We ended up with a little bit more Pirates now, which I'm okay with. As we look at pitching, yeah, Grayson Rodriguez took a little bit from Barrios up to 17%. I think that looks perfect. I have 7% of the Orioles, only 4 stacks. So a lot of one-off type stuff coming in for Baltimore, not getting there in heavy stacks. And I basically removed all of the Cleveland that I had. Not a direction I want to go against Grayson Rodriguez here. David Peterson and Ranger Suarez ownership didn't change at all. Same situation for the Braves, still getting to a little bit of sneaky Nats, still tripling up on Garrett Cole and doubling up on Jose Barrios. So everything still looks good after flipping the Guardians and Orioles. Orioles are going to have a lot of cash options here. Gunnar Henderson is certainly in play. Cedric Mullins is in play. Santander in play for sure. So keep your eye on the Orioles for cash. If we're ranking this game overall, it's Grayson Rodriguez, Orioles bats, Guardians bats, Hunter Gaddis. All right, so let us move on to game number 5. And you know what? Before we do that, I think it's time to talk about the sponsor for today. And this is a new one. We've got a new deal going on. What is that? Teddy Roosevelt? Does he have the new deal? New deal. Was that Teddy Roosevelt? Franklin. That's FDR. Got it. Wrong Roosevelt. Honestly, I should have just said Roosevelt. Then I would have looked smart and I would have gave myself the out. I don't know why I would remember anything like that. That was not a class that I paid much attention to. But, take what we can get. Anyway, let's share the screen. That's what we need to do here for today. I'm pulling it up. You guys are going to enjoy this. Bam. Right there on the screen. NFL lineup generator. That's what the deal is for today. Look at the banner at the top of the screen. Promo code is REDZONE, REDZONE. But you can click the link in the description of this video. That's going to hook you up. You'll get our NFL lineup generator for $9.99. You want to see this tool. I have it up right now for Showdown. If you are like a 1 lineup guy, a 2 lineup guy, you just want to see some visuals up to 20 that you could export via CSV, this is the tool for you. We talk a lot about Sims and the high-end stuff, $200 packages. I think this is what's going to fit a little bit more for people, because sometimes you just want to line up to sweat during Thursday night football, during Monday night football, during Sunday night football even. Now, this works for main slates, but I'm going to look at the lineup generator for Showdown right now. We have the Giants. We have the Niners. I'm going to just go standard projections to start. And immediately, we get a lineup. Only spending $43.7. Brock Purdy in the captain spot. Waller, Samuel, Mitchell, Kittle, Paris Campbell. Very, 90th percentile-ish optimal odds, but it's very, very contrarian. If you like the lineup that is on the screen right now, you're in luck. You can just click save. Or if you hate it, you click discard. Boom. another one right in front of you. Boom, another one. If you click discard, it's like DJ Khaled over here. Another one. I'm going to hop back in. We're going to go showdown again. We're going to go contrarian. We're going to go contrarian lineups. And I'm going to say, this is what I want if the Niners don't play well and the Giants do. Giants up, Niners down. What are we getting? Giants defense captain spot. Purdy, McCaffrey, Samuel Kittle, and Matt Breida. Now, I'm not going to lie. That is not a lineup I want to play. I'm going to hit discard on that bad boy. We're going to go kicker now on this one. This is what you can do with the lineup generator, and you get it for $9.99 using that promo code REDZONE. It's that fast. I'm just clicking discard and save and discard and save. Look what happens if I just click save a bunch of times. We're going to get all the way up to the 20 lineups. We're going to view those saved lineups. There's all of our exposures. Breida and McCaffrey in 65%. You could swap some of these things around if you want. But this is what we've got right now for you guys. If you're interested in the NFL lineup generator, $9.99 for your first week. Let's head back into baseball now. 3 more games to go. Climbing, baby. 80 people in the house now. We're going to get to 100 before we get out of here. Maybe we can get to 100 likes too. That would be nice. Game number 5. Cubs and Pirates. Oh, I wish I would have had this Pirates exposure yesterday. 4.6 run implied total for the Cubbies. 3.7 for the Pirates. It's Kyle Hendricks for Chicago. Johan Oviedo for the Pirates. 9% ownership coming into Hendricks. He should be around 10. That's exactly what I have. Oviedo's 5% owned. I have 7. He should probably be around 5 to 10. Not a lot to talk about here for either pitcher. What we want to talk about are the bats. And I'm getting to the Pirates. Same as I did yesterday. They went off yesterday. I hope you're going back to them. We have them 9th in top stack. I have them 6th. I'm a little bit more of a believer. We both are in agreement, though, 10% or higher as top value. Outside of Brian Reynolds at 5,300, these guys are ultra cheap. And again, it's Kyle Hendricks on the opposite side here. Now, the Pirates are 4th in ownership. They're 10% owned. They're probably a bit over-owned if you just think about it like that. But Kyle Hendricks doesn't get any strikeouts, and this park plays up power a little bit. So I like the Pirates once again. I have 50 stacks right now. I don't want to hold that as we go further, but I'm 2xing the field on Pittsburgh. This is my favorite team back-to-back days. Everything here looks good to me. Bay in the leadoff spot for a $3,300 second baseman. That just works and is certainly one of the premier cash options that you will get to today. But Brian Reynolds at 5% ownership. Yeah, I'll pay up to be contrarian there. Who else do we want to look at? Jack Sawinski, $3,600 outfielder. Yeah, I'm in for that for sure. Big time power, 107 park factor to lefties. I really like Pittsburgh today. I really do. And it's Kyle Hendricks. I don't mind the Cubs. I think they're properly owned. They're 8th in ownership at 6%. I have 6 stacks. I have 5%. It's mostly Mike Tauchman that's getting into my lineups, $3,600 outfielder in the leadoff spot. But I don't mind a slow trickle of the Cubs against Oviedo. But my main priority is going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates. I almost said Steelers. If I'm ranking this game, it's Pirates bats, Cubs bats, Hendricks, Oviedo. But all I want are the Pirates bats. Big fan. So I assume since they played well yesterday, they'll end up with like 1 run off of Kyle Hendricks. That'll be a real blast. Now we're getting into one of the more interesting pieces that we can talk about. The Oakland A's against the Detroit Tigers. 3.3 run implied total for Oakland. 4.2 for the Tigers. Luis Medina is going for the A's. He's 12% owned at 6,600. I guess he's like the alternative to David Peterson. I'd probably rather have Oviedo than Medina, and I do. So don't really go to Medina. Do go to Tariq Skubal, though. 9,600. So that is $2,600 cheaper than Garrett Cole. Just very easy to get to. Now, is he over-owned at 42%? A little bit. But the salary is what's unlocking that. I think he should probably be in the 30 to 35 range. So I don't think 42 is all that crazy. I think you eat the chalk on Tariq Skubal. I don't see him in the same light as Max Fried because, one, incredible strikeout matchup against the A's. I got it in at 25%. Two, Skubal. He's only thrown 1,000 pitches this season. 0.084 x ISO to lefties, 0.090 to righties. Gives up no power in a park that completely removes righty power. Oh, by the way, 8 righties against the lefty in Skubal. This is incredible. He strikes out righties at a much bigger fashion. 34% K rate to righties this year. If you don't like Tariq Skubal today, you're crazy. Everything fits. Price works. Skill set works. Matchup works. Park works. Every single bit of this lets you know Tariq Skubal is the best point per dollar guy that you can get to. They banned the people who made this show fun. Who's they and who the hell do you mean? I don't even know what you could be talking about. I mean, which makes sense. The person that should get banned is probably you for stupidity, but we'll let it go, Red Dog. What are you talking about? I mean, surely you have no idea what you're talking about, like every other scenario that we have when we do these shows, but I'll entertain it for now. We've got plenty of time. All right. So we talked about Skubal being the best option pitching wise. Let's talk hitting here. We got to start with the Tigers. Second in ownership. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't agree with it. No part of this makes sense to me. Why are they second in ownership? We have them fifth in top stack, first in value. So, like, I understand that they're a really nice value stack. They are not the fifth best stack today, and that is not close. I have them 10th. So I very disagree with the Tigers. Zach McKinstry, second base shortstop, $3,400. Well worth the 20% ownership that he is getting. That flexibility is fantastic. After that, no thank you on the Tigers. I have 5%. They're 13% owned. Giant fade for me. I have no interest in going to Detroit in Oakland just because they're cheap. And I want to point out one other fact here too, because I am getting to the Pirates. The Tigers are aggressively cheap, number 1 or number 2 in top value. I'm still getting 43% of Garrett Cole, 50% of Skubal, and 39% of Barrios. That's 8,600, 9,600, and 12 too. I don't need the salary savings from the Tigers to still get all of the top tier pitching and avoid the value pitching. So let's keep that in mind. I don't think this ownership is necessary at all. At all. Run away from the Tigers' ownership today in large field. As I rank this game, it's Skubal number 1, Skubal number 2, Skubal number 3, and Skubal number 4. If you want to play the Tigers, make sure you're getting different elsewhere. Don't play the A's. Don't play Luis Medina. Obviously, Red Dog just gave up. Another day where just says stuff into the ether with pure stupidity. Dodgers, 5.1 run implied total here for LA, 4 for the Giants. Emmett Sheehan going for the Dodgers. Kyle Harrison going for the Giants. Harrison at 9,100, unowned. Just not going to go deep enough against a loaded Dodgers team. Similarly, Sheehan, 6,600. It is Sheehan, right? I see he's not in our ownership projection, so let me double check that. Emmett Sheehan. Okay. Regardless, Sheehan somewhere in that 5% range. Not someone that I'm really looking to go to a lot. I guess I need to start with the Giants. That's the team I'm getting to. The Giants and the Dodgers are basically equally owned for opposite reasons. 10% top stack, 4% value for the Dodgers. 6% top stack, 11% value for the Giants. They're just flip-flopped. It's 6.7% ownership to both teams. I'm getting the Giants against Sheehan. Now, do I like that? 201 x ISO to lefties? Yeah, that's great for Wade, Yastrzemski, Jock, Conforto, Patrick Bailey to a degree. 170 to righties. Not all that amazing. So, give me the Giants. 6.5% owned. I have 13, so I'm 2xing the Giants. 22 stacks. I'm very happy to get to this Giants team against Sheehan. Not a big believer in Sheehan's talent level and certainly has had some problems against lefties for power. And this one is in LA. 125 park factor to righties, 121 to lefties. Giants look good. Would I mind having the Dodgers? Of course not. But they're expensive. And I'm already barely getting to the Braves. So I'm going to have the Dodgers behind in that regard. Kyle Harrison is good. 7% owned for the Dodgers. I have one stack, but I have 5%. So I am getting to some Betts, some Smith, some Martinez, just not as much as the field. If I rank this game, it's pretty clearly to me Giants bats, Dodgers bats, Sheehan, Harrison. Sheehan being 6,600 just opens it up a little bit more. I love this slate. I would give anything for there to not be NFL games tonight so that we could get a really nice prize pool for baseball. Because I don't want to miss this one, man. This is a great day for baseball. I'm excited to come back for Live Before Lock later tonight and chop this one up with Greg. Do I wish that we didn't have this like 2-game 9:40, 10:10 starts for A's, Tigers, Dodgers, Giants? Yeah, I do. There's a lot of 7 o'clock games. What are you going to do? We'll deal with it. 7 games is a perfect size slate. So that part of it all works perfectly. As I look at the weather, we have no real issues for today. We're just going to get these 7 games. I think it's a fantastic slate. Perfect size, perfect matchups, interesting ownership. Every bit of this looks good to me. No problem with it whatsoever. We're going to have some fun. Anybody has any questions, feel free to drop those in chat. That would be fine. I'll sum my stuff up right now. If we're talking stacks, my biggest priority right now is the Pirates. The Giants and the Mets would be second and third. Mets would be somewhere along the lines of my sneak stack. I'm happy to get some of the Braves and Orioles, but I do find both teams to be overowned. I am fading the Tigers. I don't agree with that ownership at all. I do have a bit of a flyer on the Nats bats as well. Now, if we're talking pitching, I think it's very easy to hash this out. Tariq Skubal is clearly the top arm. I prefer Garrett Cole and Jose Barrios as the next two. The public prefers Suarez over Barrios. I think flip-flopping those guys makes a lot of sense. I'm not a big believer in the David Peterson ownership. I think he's getting a little bit steamed up just because he's 5,500. That really doesn't stand out for me. Well, is there anything else you guys want me to touch on? I don't really have anything else for this slate. Reminder, NFL Strategy Show coming up next. In about 15 minutes, you'll get Laffy and Eric breaking down some more Week 3 NFL goodies. We have a ton of content coming up for the rest of the day. MLB contenders videos are going to get recorded in like the next 15 minutes. They'll be out on the channel in the next hour. 8 game. Will I be doing best ball content? No, I will not. Thoughts on a Pirates 5-man and Skubal small? Yeah, love it. Love it. It's my most exposed pitcher and stack. So certainly like that. Thanks for being here, guys. It's been a good one. We got a Friday slate tomorrow. I assume it's just full bore, 14-ish games. And we have like a real legitimate NFL or MLB slate. Yeah, we got a monster tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 gamer. If we're locking at 7 tomorrow, that'll be a good time. Guys, thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Sign up for the NFL lineup generator using the promo code REDZONE. You can see it on the banner at the top of the screen. You don't want to miss it. We've got Showdown, and it is updated for Showdown for tonight. Make sure you're watching NFL Strategy Show. That is it for me, folks. I'll see you in the morning.